Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have thought it had no value.
Yeah, no.
Who would have thought that items purchased out of pure hobby could be worth $5,000 someday? That's exactly what happened when this guest brought these items to auction. Among them were 2 pairs of moccasins, a baby bonnet, and a ball. The guest had little knowledge about the history or significance of any of the items, except for the ball.
It was a gift from my grandmother. I was born on an Indian reservation in eastern Montana. My family receives one when a child is born.
The appraiser identified the bonnet and moccasins as Lakota, likely originating from the Rosebud Reservation. However, the beadwork on these items dates back to the late 19th to early 20th century.
These are worth $800 to $1,200.
Oh, okay.
These are worth $1,400 to $1,600.
Oh, very nice.
This is probably worth $800 to $1,200.
The appraiser expressed appreciation for their worth as cherished family heirlooms.
$4 to $6 for this.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have thought it had no value.
Yeah, no.
With the diamond and emerald conversion ring. Survivors of the Titanic, her great-great-aunt Annie and Charlotte Cardezza, were on lifeboat 19. Tom Cardezza later crafted a ring from a cufflink, thanking Annie for her supposed offer to sacrifice her seat for him during the sinking. The ring has a beautiful emerald-cut emerald in the center. Transitional cut diamonds encircle the emerald. The band is constructed of yellow gold and platinum. It has written, "Saved from the Titanic," and included the date April 15, 1912. At auction today, it would be expected to bring somewhere in the $6,000 to $8,000 range.
Wow. All right. Oh, I knew it was nicely done, but wow.
The rattle.
Tell me more.
Let's unveil the captivating pipe tomahawk and the fascinating rattle. Both are remarkable pieces of tribal art crafted in 1880. Originating from the southern plains, these artifacts belong to the Kiowa tribe, known for their fine heritage and beautiful traditions. The pipe tomahawk at the bottom combines both a weapon and serves as a symbol of peace treaties. Red signifies upper world powers, while darker shades symbolize the lower world. The pipe tomahawk features a steel head and an ash or hickory handle adorned with beaded fringe. The object above is a rattle, featuring beautiful native tanned deerhide fringe. A drum replicates Mother Earth's heartbeat, meant for spiritual and healing power. The American eagle on the rattle symbolizes the highest avian power. These captivating, ancient tribal art pieces are estimated to be valued at
$5,500. The pipe tomahawk, I think, would readily realize $4,500. It's very nicely done.
Oh, I knew it was nicely done, but wow.
Guest brought this Martin Luther King Jr. letter, which she collected from an estate sale. Martin Luther King Jr. was a prominent leader of the American Civil Rights Movement in 1955. What this letter entails was Martin Luther King's take on President Eisenhower and Richard Nixon's regime, and also includes a very bold signature of Martin Luther King and is dated 1958. An interesting and strong passage in the letter extensively discusses Martin Luther King's distasteful view of President Eisenhower's policies concerning America's civil rights, while he talks about the impressive nature of President Nixon before he concludes that if President Nixon is not sincere, he is the most dangerous man in America. The appraisal cited how powerful the content of the letter is, and it valued around $10,000. Piece of the antenna from John Glenn's space capsule, acquired by their grandfather, Captain John D. Exum, who commanded the ship Noah that picked Glenn up after his historic orbital flight in 1962. The ship's crew engaged in a friendly competition to retrieve Glenn and the capsule as quickly as possible, earning Captain Exum a piece of the antenna as a thank you gift. The item comes with a recognition proclamation acknowledging Captain Exum's role in the mission. A photograph featuring Captain Exum and John Glenn further complements the historical significance of the piece. As the first manned orbital flight for the United States, artifacts from this mission hold immense value. The appraiser suggests a value of
$30,000 to $50,000.
Oh my goodness.
And if you're going to insure it, I would probably put an insurance value more than that, maybe at $60,000 or so.
The guest shared the story of acquiring a tile panel at an estate sale dating back to 1870. The appraiser identified that they were made by Maw and Company in a small factory. He also shared a personal experience working at the company as a historian, restoring and researching tiles similar to these. The tiles were crafted beautifully with bright colors on them. Moreover, they were never used or installed with mortar. The appraiser assessed the worth of the item to be
Perhaps $1,000. Amazed.
This man acquired the fire badge at an estate sale as a child and has kept it around the house ever since. The badge serves both as a fire badge and a piece of jewelry. Crafted in 14-karat gold, it was presented to Kansas City Fire Chief George Hale just before the turn of the century. The badge exhibits exceptional enamel work, featuring intricate blue and red enamel detailing. Notably, the wheels on the fire hose are movable, showcasing the badge's attention to detail. The piece bears a tiny signature and was manufactured by the esteemed jeweler Mermod and Jacquard of St. Louis. The reverse side carries a significant inscription expressing appreciation for Chief Hale's exemplary firefighting efforts during a specific fire incident. The historical and artistic significance, combined with the high-quality craftsmanship, the conservative auction value is at
$10,000 to $15,000. Whistles.
I'm amazed.
is a unique micro-mosaic artwork. The guest inherited the micro-mosaic from
Grandmother was an antique dealer, and it used to be in her home. As long as I can remember growing up, it was in our home.
This fascinating piece was created by Moglia, a well-known Italian mosaicist artist. Micro-mosaics are artworks made with tiny pieces of glass called tesserae. The technique became popular in the 18th and 19th centuries, especially among grand tourists visiting Italy. This particular micro-mosaic is a copy of a painting by Guido Reni. This amazing artwork depicted Beatrice.
Beatrice and her stepmother were abused by her father. They murdered him.
The micro-mosaic was made in Italy between 1850 and 1875. The value of this whimsical artwork was
$85,000.
Cool.
Made an intriguing acquisition. A vintage stock ticker purchased at an auction. The stock ticker, which dates back to the late 19th century, has a rich history. In the late 1870s, Thomas Edison improved its design. These devices were widely used on the New York Stock Exchange in the 1880s, signifying a pivotal era in financial technology. The item was crafted by the Star Electric Company between 1880 and 1885, and it features impressive graphics and distinctive lettering. Despite a minor missing pin, its overall condition is commendable. Acquired through a winning bid of $1,700 at auction, the estimated retail value, as assessed by the appraiser in consultation with his colleagues, is impressive.
$8,000 to $10,000. Wow. Wonderful.
Arrived with the 1917 Leonard Willicke designed armchairs. She got these from her mother, who acquired them for a decorating project. These chairs were featured in a historical home by Dr. Thomas Brunk, designed by Leonard Willicke, an architect in Detroit. Willicke is known for his comprehensive approach to design, including interiors and landscaping. Made of walnut, the chairs feature a distinctive crest, expanding arms, and a recurring frieze motif, creating an aesthetically pleasing design. The pair appraised for $8,000 to $12,000. For insurance purposes, the value is $20,000. Presented this remarkable tennis memorabilia. He worked as a professional tennis umpire and had a tradition of asking Wimbledon winners to sign the shirt. The shirt contained signatures from Wimbledon's greatest champions, such as Billie Jean King, Rod Laver, John McEnroe, Venus Williams, Martina Navratilova, and many other champions. The appraiser valued the shirt at $1,000 to $1,500 and asked for it to be insured at $3,000.
Excellent. Excellent.
Awarded to Gene Vincent. The guest received the gold record from their parents. It's a gold record awarded to Gene Vincent by Capitol Records to commemorate selling 1 million copies of his hit song, Be-Bop-A-Lula. He got it from Gene Vincent's mother and father in the 70s. It's a gold record, likely inscribed to Gene Vincent. The appraiser estimates the insurance value of the gold record to be $2,000 to $3,000.
I'm really surprised about the prices.
These are 3 fantastic pieces of Newcomb pottery, which she inherited from her great aunt, who studied at Newcomb College. A 4-handled vase with carved flowers from the 1920s by Cynthia Littlejohn. The 4-handled vase has an unusual number of handles, deep carvings, and a color gradient that goes from purple to blue to pink. The transitional piece has a waxy glaze and decoration that covers the entire surface with multiple colors.
Decoration on the bottom or the top and then a blank area. This one, the entire surface of this pot is captured with modeling, with carving. This is a hand-thrown pot.
A high glazed plate depicting a woman reading to her children is attributed to Sadie Irvine. The Newcomb mark on the back is crossed out, indicating it was intended to be kept by the family. The value of these 3 pieces, estimated by the appraiser, was $1,500 to $2,000 for the 4-handled vase, $2,500 to $3,500 for the transitional piece, and $10,000 to $15,000 for the high glazed plate. All 3 pieces together were from $15,000 to $20,000.
Oh my goodness. I'm really surprised about the prices.
This, and you wouldn't think it's a mere ribbon cabinet, this is the Cadillac of ribbon cabinets, crafted from...
It has a lot of walnut in it. Most of the time, these cabinets are all golden oak, and the fact that it has walnut in it, I think tells you that it was meant to be a top-tier type thing.
Thus, we can estimate this cabinet dates back to...
And it's sometime from the late 1800s, probably 1880s, 1890s.
But how did this rare treasure end up in the possession of our guest? While its current location on the beach might seem unusual, there's surely a fascinating reason behind it. Country collectible enthusiasts would undoubtedly love to get their hands on this piece. As for its insurance value, that remains to be seen.
A good insurance value on this would probably be about $3,000.
It's a good keepsake.
Like a boring old covered book might really surprise you. This is the diary of a late World War II prisoner in Barth. It's covered with material from Red Cross packages. These Red Cross packages were delivered to prisoners during World War II for food and other necessities. However, unlike others, this diary isn't just filled with text. It belonged to someone who flew missions on a B-17 bomber.
He flew missions out of England. He was a navigator on B-17s.
Another turret gunner witnessed the guest father being shot down and described the event. The guest father miraculously survived the crash. The diary expresses gratitude for the silk. For that reason, the diary has 2 values.
We've got the monetary value, which at auction would be in about the $2,000 to $3,000 range. However, we have another value with it, and it's historical value. And as far as I'm concerned, its historic value is priceless.
I had no idea.
These glass pieces might look like ancient Egyptian pharaohs' vessels, but actually they are gold iridescent glass candlesticks made by Tiffany Studios, founded by Louis Comfort Tiffany. They have 2 uses and a Letz vase made by the Austrian company Letz.
This actually was made by the Austrian company Lotz. This particular kind of glass was called Astrea.
The pieces have been in the guest grandmother's dining room since around 1920. While the Letz vase and candlesticks seem like a matching set, they actually didn't come from the same place. Interestingly, they were both made around the same time. Since Tiffany Studios began to decline in the 1920s, the retail value of the candlesticks would be around $800 to $1,000, and the value of the Letz piece would be about
$1,000 to $1,500. Oh, how exciting! I had no idea. Wow. That's something for a family memento, isn't it? Great.
The guest introduces Josie Wade, who worked for her dad's family and helped raise him. Upon Josie's passing, she left all of her belongings, including this carved Texas folk art box, crafted by her father, to the guest's dad, since she had no children of her own. The box showcases intricate carving work, suggesting it was crafted by a skilled artisan. The craftsmanship depicting the Alamo adds historical and cultural significance to the piece, indicating that it's likely relief work from the 1880s or 1890s. Walnut wood used for the box has an even grain, suitable for carving, and is described as immaculate. Remarkably pristine, this box retains its original finish in an authentically captivating state. Given its rarity as a piece of folk art,
$3,000 to $5,000.
Wow. Wow. That's something for a family memento, isn't it? Great.
this is not gold, but sometimes it is. This guest brought a gold ring to the auction.
Know that it was gold?
Yes.
The appraiser identified an esoteric mark on the item as de Cobb, noting that he was a sculptor and jeweler from Vienna.
You can see the sides have these wonderful sculptural figures.
So the ring was from 1965. The appraiser estimated the value of the item to be around $1,500. The guest expressed surprise at the appraised value.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Okay, I don't think we were anywhere in that range. That's incredible.
This piece was acquired by the guest grandmother, who was a great aficionado of Picasso in the early 60s. It's signed Picasso, and on the other side of the inscription is the photograph presented to Picasso. He wrote on the back of it, "This sketch," or "This is indeed mine," signed Picasso, and dated it 25th of October, 1963. It's an ink on paper, signed in the upper left, 2nd of March, 1943, Picasso. It's a wonderful example of this period, a quick sketch with African influence and abstraction. Authenticated by the note on the picture, a piece like this is very desirable. However, in today's market, it will sell for
Be $100,000 to $150,000.
Whoa. Okay, I don't think we were anywhere in that range.
All right. I may just have to hang on to them.
These have come down through the guest family, belonging to his grandparents. They're very shiny, bright, extremely decorative, and very impressive pieces. They are both Victorian, hallmarked with London hallmarks from the 19th century, and bear the tax mark for Queen Victoria. Both pieces were made during her reign, with the earliest one being this silver tureen. This is absolutely Rococo in taste, and dates from 1841 when it was hallmarked. You've got these roque sort of scrolls, sea scrolls, beautiful sort of watery flowing movement to it. On the final is a pomegranate, and also an engraved armorial on the lid.
One coat of arms, and on the other side of it is another, and they're sort of united, right? So I think it's a marital arms.
However, this piece is from 1883. They are both amazing pieces, and actually quite rare to come by. At auction,
Tureen should be valued at $20,000.
and the ewer for
$10,000 insurance for that.
All right. I may just have to hang on to them.
Say, by George, wouldn't it?
This painting was made by G. Lance and is titled The Black Cap, Monkey, and Fruit. It belonged to the guest's great-uncle George, who owned a brewery up in Lancashire in the north of England. George Lance was a Victorian still-life painter born in 1802 in Essex and showed artistic talent quite early on. He was an apprentice to Benjamin Haydon for 7 years, studying with him at the Royal Academy. The painting has some wonderful details with the hat pin and the peacock feather and the embroidery on the jacket.
Quite a wonderful ensemble on, and he's just about to cut into this melon, it looks like, and drooling.
The medium is oil, and it was painted on a panel, which is basically a piece of wood. In today's market, the 19th century painting would sell for
$20,000 to $30,000 in today's market.
I think it would be appropriate to say, by George, wouldn't it?
book at a book sale while in college in the religious book section for 25 cents. It's Houdini's miracle mongers and their methods. Houdini didn't like that there were a lot of fakes taking advantage of people who were in mourning, so he took it upon himself from about 1920, which is the year that this was published, to start exposing them. He put out this book, which was debunking a lot of the methods that were used, and the title is A Complete Exposé of the Modus Operandi of
the fire eaters, heat resistors, poison eaters, venomous reptile defiers, sword swallowers, human ostriches, strongmen, and the like.
The first page was inscribed in a bold, clear signature to W.S. Davis, Best wishes from the author, Houdini, January 1921. The book itself is worth several $100s in this condition, but the inscription makes it even more desirable. At auction, it would sell for
$2,000 to $3,000.
Really?
The guest's great-grandfather acquired this magnificent mandolin from a neighbor. It's a Gibson F5 mandolin featuring the iconic fern inlay design crafted by Lloyd Loar himself. Lloyd Loar, an acoustic engineer and renowned mandolin virtuoso at Gibson, revolutionized the instrument in the 1920s with innovations such as parallel tone bars and an elevated fingerboard. It boasts 2 F-holes, a centrally positioned bridge, and internally tuned plates, reminiscent of a violin. Loar's groundbreaking innovations established the benchmark for modern mandolins. Inside, we find a Gibson label with a serial number and a master model label, confirming its top-grade status since 1922.
If I had to grade it in Gibson mandolins, Lloyd Loar mandolins, I'd probably put it at the top 10% of the ones I've seen.
During the Great Depression, the guest's great-grandfather purchased it for $20, though its value at the time was estimated to be around $600. Today, it could fetch.
These days, a correct asking price through a dealer in a shop would be about $175,000.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Present value of this mandolin is $125,000. This piece of furniture about 20 years ago at an antique show in Tulsa for around $2,000.
The gentleman told me it was a John Jelliff, but I have no way of knowing if that was true or not.
The appraiser then asked if the piece had been reupholstered, to which the guest replied that they had bought it as is and loved it. The appraiser explained that John Jelliff was known for his high-quality furniture, often featured classic busts and medallions. However, Jelliff retired in 1860, and while his company continued, it was not under his direct leadership. Was in rosewood, he did work with walnut, the material of the guest's piece. The overall quality and design of the carving seemed more factory-generated and less crisp than Jelliff's work, suggesting it might be from a Midwest manufacturer, possibly from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Carving is a little bit more factory-generated. The arms, while they have this tassel, which is symbolic of Jelliff, the crispness overall isn't quite Jelliff.
The appraiser informed the guest that the current market has changed, and people are not collecting such furniture with the same enthusiasm. Even if it were confirmed as a Jelliff piece, its market value would only be around.
You're probably looking at $600 to $800.
That's okay. I still love it.
Good.
That's all right.
Grandmother, born in 1890, received this doll from her half-sister when she was about 5 years old in 1895. The appraiser noted that the doll had likely been gently played with due to its pristine condition. The appraiser identified the doll as being made by Jumeau, one of France's most prominent doll makers, who began producing dolls in 1842.
These examples were made anywhere between 1890 and 1900.
Okay.
It was in remarkable condition, with its original wig, clothes, and earrings, although the silk was slightly molting due to age. Upon a closer inspection, the appraiser pointed out the markings on the back of the doll's head, including Déposé Tite Jumeau, and the size number 8, suggesting it was about 20 inches tall. Additionally, there was an artist's mark, 1X, and even the shoes were marked. The doll had original earrings and a high-quality body. Although the guest intended to pass it down to her granddaughter, the appraiser valued the doll between.
At auction today, this doll would bring between $4,500 and $7,000.
Something timeless about a pearl brooch. It's like a miniature work of art that tells its own story. Our guest was gifted the item by her grandmother. Crafted from silver-topped gold and adorned with mine-cut diamonds, likely made around 1880 to 1890. It's difficult to determine the origin of the item precisely because it lacks any visible maker's mark. The brooch also showcases pink conch pearls,
The conch pearl is a very rare.
a highly rare material from the Caribbean.
There is no price sheet for them, and each is an actual miracle of nature.
Given the rarity of the materials used in this piece, it would command a significant auction value of
A fair auction estimate for this brooch we see to be in the range of $15,000 to $20,000. Oh, you're kidding me. Yep, no, I know.
A remarkable piece of sports history. A 1924 NFL World Championship football fob earned by their father while playing for the Cleveland Bulldogs. The Bulldogs, founded in 1923, clinched the NFL championship in 1924 with a notable 7-1-1 record. The gold fob is a unique artifact from the early days of the NFL, when championship rewards were distinct from contemporary Super Bowl rings. His father attended VMI with aspirations of becoming an officer during World War I, then played football at Ohio State University before joining the Cleveland Bulldogs. The owner shares anecdotes about football's wild and tumultuous nature during that era, including encounters with local gangsters who celebrated the team's victories in unconventional ways. Given its exceptional condition and historical significance, the associated watch is suggested for insurance at $1,500, while the fob is recommended to be insured for
$10,000. And it's really neat to see such a cool piece.
Thank you.
Brings in a fascinating piece of history, a flag with a story that whispers of a bygone era. Inheriting this treasure from her great-grandfather, it offers a glimpse into the complexities of the Spanish-American War. Dating back to 1895 to 1898, this flag predates the official war declaration. It represents a Spanish loyalist organization, most likely the cazadores, meaning hunters in Spanish. These groups remained faithful to the Spanish crown during the Cuban Rebellion against Spanish colonial rule. This beautifully framed flag boasts a unique feature, hunting horns embroidered in each corner, symbolizing the cazadores' identity. Unlike the standard mass-produced company flags carried by Spanish soldiers, this one is a sub-flag made with higher quality materials. A conservative auction estimate would place its value between $2,500 to $3,000.
Wow, it's good. Good chunk of change.
Jewelry is a storehouse of lore, customs, and priceless memories. It's more than just an item of clothing. The guest inherited a stunning piece of jewelry for her birthday from her Aunt Libby, who received it from her own Aunt Libby, maintaining a cherished family tradition. Despite her mother's disdain for its unique brown lines, the guest found beauty and character in the opal centerpiece. The appraiser identified it as Marcus & Company piece, signifying exceptional craftsmanship from the renowned jeweler Herman Marcus. The Art Nouveau design, accentuated with old mine diamonds and vibrant green enamel, showcased Marcus's meticulous metalwork and attention to detail. The appraiser pointed out the incorporation of vibrant green enamel in the background, a hallmark of Marcus's work. Many of the enamelers under his employ received training from Lalique, renowned for their mastery of enamel artistry. While acknowledging the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
"Rewrite that insurance appraisal today. You would have to rewrite it for $12,000.
Oh my goodness.
A vintage Donald Duck toy unearthed from a forgotten barn. Inherited from her parents, this charming toy carries not only sentimental value, but also a surprising worth. This toy is a 1930s wind-up Donald Duck made of celluloid, a fragile but colorful material. Celluloid toys were often hand-painted, adding a layer of artistic detail to the mass-produced characters.
Celluloid is an interesting material because it has color inherent. When they make it, they can make it red.
This particular toy is attributed to George Borgfeldt, a figure who brought many iconic comic character toys. It features a long-billed Donald Duck, a design prevalent in the 1930s, including Mickey Mouse and Felix the Cat to the United States. Vibrant colors and intricate hand-painting further enhance the toy's charm. Most remarkably, the original colorful box adds significantly to its value. A unique detail, a smaller paper stamp on the toy's belly, identifies it as an import from Japan. This toy's wind-up mechanism activates a delightful carousel motion, making Donald Duck and his companions spin around. The appraiser estimates a value between $2,000 to $2,500 at auction.
$2,000 and $2,500.
Okay.
So that would be kind of fun. And
received this Lionel train set as a Christmas gift from their parents in the mid-1950s, and it's been cherished ever since. Despite living in Queens, New York, the guest has kept it in excellent condition. The Lionel train set, featuring the Jersey Central line, is a prized possession from the late era of Lionel trains. Its modern design and aluminum cars made it particularly appealing. The set's pristine condition, including the original boxes, added to its value. The appraiser suggested that a set like this could fetch
$4,000 to $6,000 at auction.
Wow.
This presented a Nez Perce cradle, a fascinating object traditionally used to carry babies. It functions similarly to a modern car seat, providing a safe and secure way to transport an infant within the context of a horse-based culture. The cradle is likely created between 1900 and 1920, placing it within a specific historical period. One of the most interesting aspects of the cradle was the use of Czechoslovakian cut beads. These beads, known for their challenging nature due to the way they could damage thread during sewing, served as a testament to the skill of the cradle's maker. This cradle is significant not just for its practicality, but also for its cultural representation. Taking into account both its beauty and its story, the estimated value of the cradle is
Expect it to be $3,500 to $4,500 and possibly more.
It's a captivating work, an etching possibly by the renowned Albrecht Dürer. Inherited from her art collecting partner, this piece holds both sentimental value and the potential for historical significance. This amazing artwork is not an etching, as the guest initially believed, but an engraving by Albrecht Dürer, a prolific German artist of the early 16th century.
And the artist's name, you're right, is Albrecht Dürer. He was a German artist who worked in the early 1500s. He died in 1528.
Dürer was a master engraver, creating hundreds of engravings and woodcuts that continued to be admired today. The guest partner was an avid collector during their college years and acquired the pieces decades ago. Drawn to its quality and artistic merit, they added it to their collection. An engraving depicts a portrait of Frederick the Wise, Elector of Saxony, one of Dürer's earliest patrons. Created in 1524, the engraving features a dedication to Frederick in Latin along with Dürer's signature and location. Another fascinating detail, Dürer incorporates 4 window panes within each of Frederick's pupils, reflecting the Renaissance belief that eyes are windows to the soul. Considering its quality, the appraiser estimates the engraving's value to be between $5,000 to $8,000 at auction.
I would give this a value of $5,000 to $8,000.
Good. Wow. That's great.
More than just a piece of clothing, this piece symbolizes creativity and imagination. The guest inherited it from her mother, who used to work in fashion advertising design in Chicago. Everything about this piece is top-notch, and it's made with the finest materials. It features intricate details and embellishments that reflect the magic of Disney storytelling.
It's French fabric. It's from Walt Disney Productions. It's a great design. It's really soft, isn't it?
Looking at it, you would see that it was crafted with precision and care, ensuring that every stitch made is perfect. The great big sleeve with the padded shoulder came from the military look of the 1940s, which adds to the elegant look. Whether worn by an artist, filmmaker, or an average Joe, this piece is a badge of honor, representing commitment to excellence, and is valued at nothing less than
$500 to $800 each. So.
Good. Wow. That's great.
Map, a cherished piece inherited from their map-collecting grandfather. Unlike the other maps in the collection, this particular one held a special significance. It was the oldest. The guest, unaware of the map's true worth, estimated its value at a modest $625. However, upon examining the map, it's a rare gem, a genuine 1671 map by John Ogilby and Arnaldus Montanus, depicting the colony of Maryland, including Delaware. Elaborate details like the Calvert seal, the dedication to Lord Baltimore, and the specific paper used during that era all served as evidence of the map's authenticity. The map's unusual orientation, with west at the top rather than the north, is a customary practice used by 17th century mapmakers to reflect the perspective of European settlers arriving on American shores. This unique and historically significant map, far exceeding the guest's initial guess, is estimated to fetch a remarkable
$6,500.
Wow.
Guest presented a tea table, a seemingly ordinary piece of furniture they had acquired for a modest price decades ago. Little did she know, the table held a fascinating secret beneath its surface. Upon close inspection, unveiled the table's true identity, a rare antique crafted in England during the mid-18th century. This revelation transformed the tea table from a practical household item into a valuable historical artifact. The key to understanding the table's age and origin lay in its intricate design elements. Some notable features of the table include the graceful curves of the legs, their form extending elegantly beyond the molded top. These legs weren't simply straight supports, they were adorned with cabochon and leaf carvings, a decorative detail that spoke to the artistry employed in the table's creation. The craftsmanship extended to the table's feet, which featured exaggerated scroll forms embellished with even more leaf carvings. The finishing touch came in the form of tiny original brass casters, a subtle detail that not only added a touch of elegance, but also hinted at the table's age. Taken together, these design elements all pointed to a specific period in furniture making, placing the table's origin from 18th century England. Recognizing the table's exceptional quality, historical significance, and its remarkably well-preserved condition, the auction estimate is at
$10,000 to $15,000.
I didn't have a clue. That's fantastic.
Shared an intriguing story behind acquiring the painting as a gift from the artist Katharine Hepburn, a renowned international actress and hobbyist painter. The guest recounted a fond memory of visiting Hepburn's cottage, where the actress sought her advice on paintings. The appraiser discussed Hepburn's private life and her passion for painting.
This famous actress who died in 2003 at 96 years old, who won 4 Academy Awards, but yet a very private person.
Noting the rarity of her artworks on the secondary market. They admired the viewpoint of the watercolor, likely painted by Hepburn from her boat. The particular piece bore the initials KH and an original signature, which was deemed special as most Hepburn signatures were done by her secretary. The original signature enhanced the artwork's authenticity and warranted an estimated value of around
$15,000 to $20,000.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful.
In the form of a Amari charger. The guest had gotten it from her husband's parent. Amari is a porcelain that was made in the kilns of Arita, Japan. What's unusual about this piece is its decoration, which depicts mountain scenes.
Mountain scenes are what you see on porcelain that comes from scroll paintings, derivative of what's on the scroll paintings.
In the calligraphy is the date of production of 1877. Also, there are enamel decorations in the borders and lappers which circle the entire charger. The gold is present on top of the glaze, and a little fishing boat could be seen. Clearly, this piece is proof of the Asian art workmanship and creativity that would fetch a decent price of
$1,200. This one between $3,000 and $7,000.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Very good. Would you be surprised? Surprising, yeah. Very surprised.
Simplicity is boring and an excuse for a bad design, but this piece is the exact opposite. Purchased by the guest in Naples, Italy, this piece is an endowment to the finger.
So I have had that ring since 1968. I had it sized down.
A unique combination of diamond with the elegance of platinum and the richness of gold, this piece presents a breathtaking sight. Based on its design elements and the rolls along the shoulders of the ring stylistically date it back to the 1940s. The durability of platinum guarantees this ring will stand the test of time, holding the precious diamonds securely in place. In addition, the gold accents add warmth and richness, creating a stunning contrast that is sure to turn heads. Together, these elements create a ring that is not just a piece of jewelry, but a work of art, a symbol of elegance and luxury that is sure to be cherished for a lifetime, with an estimated value of
$3,000 to $4,000.
Oh, very good.
Would you be surprised?
Surprising, yeah. Very surprised.
Lithograph might not seem remarkable at first glance, but further investigation can leave anyone in awe. This lithograph piece was purchased by the guest when she was still in college in 1956. John Woodrow Wilson was a highly skilled African-American lithographer, sculptor, painter, muralist, and art teacher who was driven by the political climate of his time. John Wilson created this piece in the 1950s. The lithograph beautifully depicts a mother and child. This piece bears a striking resemblance to another one of his works, in which a mother is depicted hiding and protecting her child from the Ku Klux Klan.
This is related to a painting he did where the mother is hiding from an attack from the Ku Klux Klan that can see out the window.
Examining the bottom left corner of the lithograph reveals it's dated 1956. A piece in this pristine condition, created by such an exemplary artist, would undoubtedly command a significant price at auction.
Between $7,000 and $10,000.
Well, I'm not selling it.
The guest and her husband bought this vase from a country auction in central Illinois after seeing an advertisement. Walking into the barn, they were immediately captivated by a vase, despite knowing nothing about the marks on the bottom.
Didn't know anything about the marks on the bottom, but we just fell in love.
The husband decided to bid on it, and after the nerve-wracking bidding process, they won the vase for $1,600. Upon closer inspection, the vase was clearly marked Denver Lanhuda with the date of 1903 and the LF symbol for Lanhuda faience. This type of pottery was created by William Long after leaving Weller Pottery and started his venture in Denver. Producing pieces like the Denver Denoraline, this vase featured a unique form with a soft green glaze and vegetal flowers, making it quite rare. Despite its exceptional condition, the appraiser estimated its retail value to be
$3,500.
Overall, the husband's bidding was a successful investment indeed. Tiny English silverwares sure do look stunning, and was bought at a garage sale by our guest 2 years ago. Looking at these pieces, they all match in their intricacy. However, what sets them apart is their unique marks. Set on the display table are a 3-piece set at the front and 2 individual pieces right behind. It's interesting to note that all these pieces have proper English hallmarks, which really set them apart from ordinary silverwares.
All of the 5 pieces have proper English hallmarks.
Judging by the matching maker's mark, some of these pieces were made by the J. Richard Attenborough Company Limited in Sheffield, England, and they are dated 1904 to 1905. Observing the neck of one of these pieces, we see the maker's mark and also the year it was made, in this case, 1903. Additionally, the silver coffee pot was made in London. Handles of these pieces were intentionally designed to look like wood. Although pieces like this are fairly easy to acquire, considering both their age and style, they would still sell fairly high at auction for
At $1,000 to $1,500 worth of silver.
Well, that's okay.
That is okay.
It's such a captivating piece, holding lots of interesting information and evoking nostalgia. Belonging to the guest's great-grandfather, Charles Edward Minor, who was an African-American sailor serving on notable ships like the Dale, Franklin, and the New Hampshire, and in wars like the Spanish-American War and World War I. This archive possesses a cabinet card that belonged to its original owner.
I finished up with the Constellation, but was on the Buffalo, the Brooklyn, the Vermont, a number of ships.
Along with an old photograph of Charles Edward Minor attached. Furthermore, there's a letter of promotion to the rank of Chief Petty Officer in 1917 also included. An artifact like this, especially one belonging to an African-American Navy serviceman, is rare and well preserved, placing its value at auction around
$2,500 to $3,500 at auction. And I'm just really glad you brought it in. Incredibly.
Delve into a captivating world where surrealism intertwines with personal nostalgia.
I had a memory of my grandma telling me that, this is one of Roland's, and when I was a kid.
Roland Penrose?
Yeah.
Behold, a mesmerizing lighthouse reflecting twice amidst surreal collages. Can you spot the bird-like coscomb in this artwork? These images originate from the enchanting Isle of Wight, the artist's hometown. Roland Penrose, the surrealist maestro and collector extraordinaire, is the creator of this piece. He has connections with great artists such as Picasso, Max Ernst, and even Roosevelt. It bears a heartfelt under-backside frame for David and Judy with love from Diana Rowley. Indeed, it is an authentic Penrose creation, adding to its value.
1,500 to 2,000, but actually, now we've seen this, I'm quite happy to put it up to 2,000 to 3,000, and then, of course, you've got to allow for somebody who just finds this completely irresistible. It is a marvellous story.
I'm so happy.
The guest brought a portrait with a fascinating story behind it. The exquisite artwork was crafted by the esteemed American illustrator Norman Rockwell and portrayed the guest's husband, John, who served as a Pan Am pilot during the 1950s. After a memorable encounter with Rockwell, John was chosen to be the model for a series of paintings for Pan Am advertisements. The appraiser provided background information on Rockwell's illustrious career, highlighting his prolific work as an illustrator and his influence on American culture. The particular painting itself was on canvas and appeared to be in good condition, besides some yellowing over the years, likely due to exposure to smoke. The guest also had letters from Norman Rockwell stating his usual portrait fee of $5,000. Considering the popularity of Rockwell's work, the estimated potential value of the painting was
range of $75,000.
Oh, goodness.
Brought a set of cards that belonged to her husband, who enjoyed playing in the 1990s. The appraiser identified the cards as Magic the Gathering cards, created in 1993 by Richard Garfield in collaboration with Wizards of the Coast. They were considered the first trading card game with immense influence. They discussed the initial sets, including the Alpha Limited set with 295 cards and the Beta Limited set with 302 cards, which the guest possessed. The appraiser then focused on the Power 9 cards, considered the most powerful in the game and highly sought after by collectors. The cards were rare, high in demand, and could be exhibited as valuable works of art in a museum. The guest expressed surprise and gratitude for the unexpected value of the collection.
At auction between $65,000 and $100,000 in trading cards.
Oh my gosh. Even that is, for Wilson Hurley, it's small.
That's right.
Wow.
The guest clutched a framed painting, a cherished piece with a surprising backstory. Inherited from a former neighbor, Wilson Hurley, the artwork had spent years hanging unnoticed in the guest family home. The painting is showing a solitary windmill standing sentinel in a vast landscape. Upon recognizing Hurley's signature in the painting dated 1960, it's obvious that it's a significant piece within the artist's career. Hurley, a celebrated southwestern landscape artist renowned for his large-scale works, was particularly fascinated by the interplay between nature and the emerging technological advancements of the era. This smaller piece, created during a pivotal period in Hurley's artistic journey, captured this very essence. The lone windmill, dwarfed by the expansive sky streaked with dramatic vertical clouds, embodied this tension. Despite its modest size compared to Hurley's usual canvases, the painting's historical significance and its connection to the artist propelled its estimated value. Taking into account Hurley's reputation, the painting's decent condition, and its unique place within his artistic development, its estimated value at auction is
$10,000 to $15,000.
Really? Even that is, for Wilson Hurley, it's small.
That's right.
Wow.
It was acquired by the guest from his mother's estate, and it also belonged to the guest's grandmother. It's a Persian Tabriz silk carpet woven in northwest Persia around 1890. It's generally in excellent condition with a very fine weave, and its original tassels are on the fringes. The foundation is very strong, and it's adorned with these exceptional designs.
Many Tabriz silk carpets come in prayer designs or center medallion designs, and currently, all-over patterns such as this one only enhance the value of this carpet.
The only problems are that the edges have been salvaged at some point in time. Rugs are evaluated in knots per square inch, and this is a 360 knots per square inch, which is very good quality. There's good demand for carpets like this, and in auction would bring between
$10,000 and $15,000.
Holy smokes.
So, very good selection. It certainly is.
That has been in the family for many years. This banjo clock has retained its quality throughout time. Passed down from his ancestors to him, these banjo clocks used to be called regulators because they set the standard for other clocks to be set.
They were called regulators.
What's fascinating about these clocks is that, surprisingly, they are patented by a man called Simon Willard. For a clock that has been around since circa 1840, This banjo clock has maintained its quality and cemented itself as a timeless piece. We can see that the clock is equipped with a well-functioning dial, and the pendulum is also in great shape. For a timeless piece such as this, one that embodies originality and longevity, this clock auctions at
$2,500, and it would be far less than $2,500 if these glasses had been changed.
But one thing they're revered for is their originality, and this baby chair and trastero accurately communicate that. Created in the 19th century, the combo is actually called a colonial.
They're what we call Spanish colonial, and they were made in New Mexico.
And in fact, what makes the combo special is the century in which it was manufactured. For the chair, despite being old and being damaged to a certain extent, has maintained its quality through its features, like the wrought nails used to nail it. The trastero, on the other hand, embodies longevity, owing to the shine it still possesses. The chair is made from ponderosa pine, so that explains how durable it has been throughout the years, despite being subject to the test of time. As these two pieces represent Spanish furniture innovation, they would surely shell out a price of
$1,200 to $1,800.
Okay.
Now, if we move over to the trastero, we'd say $3,000 to $5,000 on the trastero. And I'm so thrilled you brought it.
Thank you. I am too. Just never had an idea it would be anything like that.
This charming child's swan sled definitely looks entertaining. Acquired by the guest at a rummage sale 7 years ago, this piece can be classified as an American folk sculpture.
It really transcends being a sled, and it falls into the category of American folk sculpture.
The maker of this sled is unknown. Unfortunately, the maker of this sled is unknown. It is a well-crafted piece of art carved from pine. A screw is visible on the swan's head for support. It was, however, painted over previously, but is now visible due to some time passing. Behind the wings are metal braces that curve with it, and the braces act as supports. The sled runners beneath the structure are also perfectly made of wood. However, the sled's handle was most likely sawed off from a Victorian carriage. With all these interesting qualities, and looking at its present condition, it isn't far-fetched that this piece would have an auction value of
$20,000 to $30,000.
Well, thank you so much. I just never had an idea it would be anything like that.
I'm not kidding.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Congratulations, a fantastic chair.
The guest brought in a chair they inherited from their grandmother's estate.
It was up in the attic. Nobody else knew it was there, and when she brought it down, everyone wanted it.
The chair's origins were shrouded in mystery, but the key to unlocking the chair's history was a maker's mark on the back, an R with a vertical saw, which signified Charles Rolfes, a prominent figure in the arts and crafts movement. Unlike many of his contemporaries who ran large factories, Rolfes preferred a more hands-on approach, working with a small team of apprentices in his studio. He was known for his unconventional designs and pushing the boundaries of the arts and crafts style. This particular chair is a prime example of Rolfes' unique approach. Crafted from mahogany, a highly uncommon material for Rolfes' creations, the chair blurred the lines between furniture and art with its sculptural design. While the chair exhibited some minor damage, the appraiser assured the guest that it did not significantly impact its value. The rarity of the chair, coupled with Rolfes' reputation and the use of mahogany, placed its estimated auction value of
and $120,000 at auction.
However, the current price of this piece is a staggering $220,000.
I am not kidding. I'm not kidding.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Congratulations, a fantastic chair.
And you have a prime, beautiful example of a great doll.
She's wonderful.
The doll has been passed down to the guest family, originating from her great aunt, and eventually reaching her through her mother. While the exact country of origin wasn't certain, it's believed to be from England. This wax doll dates back to the 1870s or early 1880s and was considered a luxury toy, likely owned by a wealthy family. It came with a complete wardrobe and even the original crate listing all the clothing items. An interesting feature of the doll was its mechanism to open and shut her eyes, operated by a lever underneath her petticoats. Although the maker was not explicitly known, a label indicating Lucy Peck Dolls Bazaar in London provided insight into its origin. Dolls of this type typically sold for $75 to $100 in the 1880s, a considerable sum at the time. Due to its rarity and quality, the appraiser suggested that a Lucy Peak wired eye wax doll like this could fetch between
$4,000 to $6,000.
Really?
And you have a prime, beautiful example of a great doll.
She's a wonderful doll. Oh, my.
Are you surprised?
Yes, I'm stunned.
The guest clutched a family album, a seemingly ordinary object that held an extraordinary secret within its worn pages. Unknown to them, the album served as a captivating time capsule, filled with Civil War history in the form of carte de vista photographs. This specific photographic format, popular during that era, employed a unique multi-lensed camera to produce multiple identical images at once. Acquired for a mere $50 decades ago, the album's true worth far outshone its modest purchase price. Among this collection, several photographs emerged as particularly noteworthy. This one captured John Menard, a pivotal figure who held the distinction of being the first black congressman elected after Reconstruction. Another has Sojourner Truth, champion of abolitionism, whose life had been marked by the horrors of slavery. Finally, we have here a photograph showing a cane carver, meticulously surrounded by the products of his craft. The rarity and captivating nature of this image placed it in a league of its own. The images of John Menard, Sojourner Truth, and the cane carver each has an estimated value of
$1,000. This one's worth around $1,500. This one I think could bring $2,000 at auction.
At auction, the value of the entire collection is estimated to be in the range of
between $8,000 and $10,000 worth of photographs.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
Are you surprised?
Yes, I'm stunned.
However, the updated value is $4,000 to $6,000. A piece of fabric belonging to her father-in-law, who had been trained as an electrical engineer during World War I. After retiring, he continued working by assisting poorer countries, one of which was Iran, where he likely bought this piece in the early 1960s. The appraiser identified the item as a block-printed Central Persian textile from the mid-19th century.
And they carve the design on the wooden block, ink it, and then print it on the fabric.
The particular piece exhibited delicate fabric, which was considered extremely rare. With extraordinary craftsmanship and delicate design, the textiles were originally created as mihrab panels to be hung in a family home. The appraiser was amazed by the printed textile and the intricacy that the artisan created. Taking into account its historical significance, the appraised value of this beautiful piece was
It's probably only worth about $3,000 to $5,000.
I see. Okay.
So, which isn't an insignificant amount of money.
Promise not to have a heart attack, though.
The guest brought in a painting imbued with sentimental value, a silent reminder of his mother's artistic aspirations. Inherited from his mother, who harbored dreams of a life as an artist, but was forced to pursue a practical career as a nurse due to the circumstances of the Depression. As a child, he would often lose himself in the artwork scenery, imagining adventures along with the depicted pathway. The inscription on the painting, compliments of George Sodder, coupled with the artist's unknown nickname Horny scrawled beneath it, sparked the guest's curiosity about a potential connection between his mother and the artist, a connection that remained shrouded in mystery. Upon examining the painting, it was made by George Sodder, a celebrated figure who had initially made a name for himself in the realm of stained glass artistry. Sodder's artistic journey eventually led him to painting, where he became associated with the New Hope School artistic movement. The style and subject matter of the landscape depicted in the painting aligned perfectly with the artistic approach favored by this school. Despite the painting's current state, obscured by a layer of grime, it still has a tremendous value. A professional opinion, through the cleaning, would significantly enhance the artwork's visual impact. However, the most transformative revelation came with the estimated auction value. Its current updated value at auction, however, is $50,000 to $70,000. This is a war relic of the Crimean War around the mid-19th century. It was created to serve as a commemorative wares that was used for buttermilk. Most of the pink luster of this sword in a piece of earthenware was made in a town in England called Sunderland.
Sunderland had numerous potteries, and there were several potteries that specialized in the manufacture and decoration of pink luster on their wares.
There's a printed decoration produced by transfer prints across the body. Then it has flags on one side and a nautical verse on the front. Alongside the jugs are two portraits, with one supposedly depicting Napoleon III and the other Queen Victoria. Also, there's a note containing little information about the jug. A piece of such historical significance is highly prized by collectors for its decorative appeal and craftsmanship, and it's valued at
In the $1,500 to $2,500 range.
Oh, wonderful.
It's in great condition, and I'm thrilled that you brought it in.
Great.